Do not be deceived. God cannot be mocked. A man reaps what he sows. Greeting, guys. It is me here with a message of the kingdom of heaven. Guys, today I want us to speak about this thing. Guys, we live in the world, or in a time where we think that our actions, whenever we say I'm sorry, whenever we apologize for our actions or things we've said, everything is over and done with. Oh, guys, it's unfortunate. There's this thing called Mother Nature. Mother Nature, guys, says that every action will produce a reaction. Mother Nature, guys, will tell you that every action will produce a reaction. In other words, what you do will produce consequences that are inherent. In other words, it's not about people inflicting pain on you because you've done something wrong to them, but it is because of Mother Nature. It is because of this principle of reaping and sowing. I don't know, guys, if you understand. In life, guys, I've learned that there are three things I don't fight. Guys, there are three things I don't fight in life. Mother Nature is one of them. Mother Nature, guys, is one of them. Secondly, I don't fight Mother Law. Why? I will never win. Guys, I don't engage in fight and disputes that I will never win. Why? I like to prepare myself. So Mother Nature, guys, you'll never win. Don't fight against Mother Nature. Guys, Mother Love, don't fight Mother Love. Where there is love, don't cause conflict. You understand? Mother Law, guys, don't fight Mother Law. If you can't get rid of evidence, don't fight Mother Law. You understand? So those are the three things, guys, that I don't even waste my time fighting. I don't, guys, because I know I will never win. I will fail. It might look as if I'm winning at present, but believe me, at the end I will not win. Why? I am fighting something that is natural. Guys, bigger than me. Guys, I'm fighting something that is beyond my pay grade, guys. Guys, when you're fighting something that is above your pay grade, Mother Nature. You know what I mean? So here, I want us to look at it because, guys, we live in a generation, guys, we live in a time, guys, we live in a world where we think that when we said, I'm sorry, it's over and done with. Unfortunately, guys, it doesn't work like that. It just doesn't work like that. And for Daddy to say such words, he's actually telling us, listen, no matter what you say, no matter what you do, those things will produce consequences. Inherent consequences. It's not about people inflicting pain on you because you've done something wrong, but it's Mother Nature. It's a principle. You understand? In other words, before we do things, we're going to have to sit down and think if those things will produce results that we cannot bear consequences of. You understand? Because see, guys, we are not perfect. Guys, I've spoken so much about us being not perfect. I'm sure some of you are like tired here. Guys, you are tired of hearing me saying that we're not perfect. Well, guys, it's one of those things, guys. It's one of those things that are just unfortunate. We are just not perfect. And because of that, we need to sit and guys, before we act, let's sit down and ask ourselves the consequences of the actions we are doing, because if not, we'll find ourselves facing consequences that we can't bear. Guys, consequences that we can't bear. So once we sit down and think about the things we do before we do them, we will avoid, guys, we will prevent certain things from happening to us, because this is Mother Nature. It's a principle. We can't fight it. We can't fight it. So we often hear people saying that I'm going to church, I'm going to cancel the sins, that I've committed last week. Let me be clear. Guys, let me just be clear. That's nonsense from the pit of hell. That's nonsense from the pit of hell. Guys, I watch a lot of movies, and even real life now, guys, I'm not talking about friction, but I'm talking about real life now. You often hear people say, oh, you go to church, God will forgive you, but law will not forgive you, so don't mess with law. In other words, you can mess with God. You're messing with the wrong dude. If you've been hearing, guys, if you've been listening to this show, you should know by now that you don't mess with that man. Guys, you can mess with anyone, just not that man sitting upstairs. Don't mess with Jesus. You are messing with the wrong guy. Why? He doesn't forgive when it's done on purpose. He himself said so. Guys, go to Hebrews 10:26, 27, down. He says once you know what sin is and you continue on purpose, knowingly, there no longer remain any sacrifice for sin except hell. You understand? So you often hear people say, oh, well, you can go to church and he will forgive you. But don't mess with law, because law doesn't forgive. They don't know that man. Guys, when I hear someone says that, I'm like, oh, shame, what a pity. You don't know who you're talking about. You're talking about a guy you don't mess with. Guys, you can mess with me. You can mess with the president. You can mess with that Superman. Just don't mess with Jesus. Guys, go ask Judas Iscariot. He will tell you he's not a guy you can mess with. He's not a guy you can mess with. He can love you, but believe me, when his back is turned against you, you don't mess with that guy. He's not, guys, you know, guys, if there's one person I know on earth I don't mess with, is that man upstairs. I don't mess with that man because I know his love, but I also know his hardness. He's so cold. He can be so cold. It's not even funny. I'm telling you guys. So here we're speaking about reaping what we sow. You know, guys, if you've listened to my messages a lot, you will realize that I warn so much against the sin. Why, guys? I've seen. Guys, I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot. And people think that with Jesus, oh no, Jesus will forgive you and it's over and done with. No, not with Jesus. Not with that man. Guys, not with that man. You know, I remember one time he was speaking to Pilate, you know, after he was captured. And Pilate says to him, do you know that I've got power to free you and power to, you know, to take you to, you know, to go further with you? And Jesus' response was like, that's what you're not getting. The man who gave you power is my Father. The man upstairs, he gave you power over me. But the one who is guilty of greater sin is the man who handed you over to me, meaning Judas Iscariot. He was actually telling him that, listen, you have power because I allowed that. I mean, guys, Jesus knew that Judas was going to go to that place. Get a man. Guys, we know this saga, we know this story, we know that event, you know. So Jesus knew if he didn't want to, he would have went to Ethiopia. But no, he went exactly to that place where he knew Judas will capture him with his cohort. You understand? So he was telling Pilate, do not be misled. You are mistaken now, dude. Do not be misled. You know, I have power. I gave you power. My Father in heaven gave you power over me. If he had not, you wouldn't be doing this. In other words, guys, Jesus was telling Pilate that, listen, for you to slap me around like a nobody, this is something you are giving above. You wouldn't. Guys, you know, with Jesus, guys, I love that dude. He's so humbled. He's so humbled, but never take it. Guys, never take advantage of that man's humility. Why? When you do wrong things to him and he keeps quiet, it's because he's doing it on purpose. It's because he's obeying Daddy. Guys, if Daddy says no, that ain't happening to my son, believe that it's not going to happen to his son. So if you think that you will mess with Jesus, you'll go about sinning left, right, and center, and you'll think, I'm going to church, I'm going to cancel that because Jesus will forgive. You have it all wrong. You have it all wrong. And you think that, oh no, I can't mess with law because law doesn't forgive. It's that man who doesn't forgive. That guy has created hell. You might not believe in hell. Satan does. Why? He knows hell. Believe that, copy that, and take that. Believe that. I'm telling you. You know, guys, people are going about as if Jesus is this fool who went to the cross and he allowed people to give him slap, you know, and he allowed people to do ABC to him. They don't realize that Jesus allowed all of that nonsense because of Daddy. If Daddy says, my son, you're not taking it, Jesus won't take it. He's not a man you should mess with. He's not a... That's why he, here, through Paul, he says, do not be deceived. God is not mocked. Don't mock that man. Guys, I often speak about sin, and maybe you're tired of hearing me. Guys, maybe you're tired of hearing me speak about it. Believe me, guys, there's a reason for that. I've seen a lot. Guys, people in churches are not forgiving. Guys, people in churches are not forgiving. You will wonder why this girl always speak about sin. Sin this, I'm tired. Sin this. Guys, you don't know what I've seen. Guys, you know, when that man will tell you, listen, get rid of this person because I'm no longer forgiving that person. Guys, you cry. Guys, I cry. You don't know how many tears guys, you don't know how many tears I've shed for people. When Jesus says it's over, it's over. He doesn't. So don't mess with Jesus. You can mess with law. Don't mess with Jesus. You can mess with Superman. Don't mess with Jesus. You can mess with me. Don't mess with Jesus. You can mess with the president. Don't mess with Jesus. Guys, there's not a man you can mess with. That's why he's actually warning us. It's because you don't mess with him. You know, people are so foolish, and I always say this. You know, it's because they will open churches and preach that there is no hell, because in their minds it's like, oh, Jesus loves us so much, he cannot take us to hell. You don't know Jesus. Guys, you don't know Jesus. The love. Guys, you will never receive love as much as you can receive it from Jesus. In fact, I've never. Guys, I'm not talking about love that you read about. Oh, Jesus went to the cross because he loves you. I'm not talking about that love. I'm talking about real love, personal love, direct love. Guys, one day, guys, I'll tell you stories. You won't believe, in fact. You won't believe. But I'm telling you, I know his love. It's a kind of love that compels. It's the kind of love that forces you. Paul says the kind of love that compels. Guys, it forces you to sacrifice. It's that kind of love. A kind of love, guys, you'll never get from anywhere. But don't mess with him. Because when you lose it, guys, he tells Judas, he says, you will wish you were never born. And Judas never believed him. Why? Judas kept receiving love from Jesus that he thought, well, I'll mess with this one. He didn't know. Guys, you never mess with that man. That's why John in the gospel, guys, in the letter 1 John 4:4, he says, anyone who claims to know Jesus will never disobey him. Why? Because anyone who knows Jesus knows his love and his coldness as well. Because whenever Jesus comes closer to a person, guys, I'm talking about personal relationship. I'm not talking about reading the word. Oh, Jesus went to the cross because he loves me. I'm not talking about that. Yes, he did, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about direct love. So whenever Jesus comes closer to you and he shows you love, he will show you his coldness as well. I know it. Peter knows it. He will tell him, get behind me, Satan. You know, so here, guys, he's telling us, he says, do not be deceived. God is not mocked. You will reap what you sow. Why? Because there are consequences that are inherent, consequences of your actions. You understand? So he's warning us, don't do. You understand? Guys, we are admonished as Christians to forgive. And we are going to do that because he's telling us, if you don't forgive, I won't forgive you. You understand? In fact, he's protecting us because whenever he tells us, guys, whenever he gives us a command, he's actually protecting us. You understand? Guys, Adam died spiritually and became like Satan, and we all became like Satan because of that. So if Adam had heeded, if Adam had obeyed, we wouldn't be looking like Satan spiritually. You understand? But now we do because of that. But if Adam had heeded, guys, he would have been protected. So his laws are there to protect us. So he says forgive, and he is the one who's going to revenge only if we obey his commands. Because, guys, often hear people say, God will revenge. He can't revenge if you don't obey him yourself, you who claim to be his child. Because if you don't obey him yourself, he must first revenge on you because you are not obeying him. Guys, if a person comes to me and says, God will revenge on you, hello, he must revenge on you first. Why? Because you're not obeying him. He must revenge on you. You are disobeying his commands. You understand, guys? So here, Paul is telling us that do not deceive that man upstairs. Do not. He's not mocked. Just because he loves you, it doesn't mean he's a fool. Guys, you don't want his coldness. You understand? So, guys, I needed you to get that. I always speak about sin because I know what it has done. People are dead spiritually in churches. They don't have Jesus because of that. Thank you.